Hi everyone, good morning. Thank you for joining today's session. I'm Debbie Ellison, I'm the Global Chief Digital Officer for VMLY&R Commerce. I'm joined today by Emma Watkinson, CEO and co-founder of SilkFred.com. I'm going to ask you kindly, because it's a bit noisy, to put on the headsets. Hopefully you'll be able to hear us better. They should be behind on your chair. Please pop them on. Look at me blankly if you really can't hear me, and I'll try and speak a little bit louder. Okay, well, the people in the front can hear without the headphones, so we're on to a good start. So today, Emma and I are going to be talking about how to win with the connected customer experience. Emma Watkinson is the co-founder and CEO of SilkFred.com. It's an amazing business that she started at the age of 24, I think it is, at the age of 24. I've already got girl crush on Emma. I think she's absolutely fantastic. We spent a lot of time together over the last kind of year or so. So she set up SilkFred.com at the age of 24. It is a marketplace, a fashion marketplace, where she partners with over 800 fashion brands and independent suppliers. And she serves currently over 1 million customers. And so while we're all crushing on how amazing you are, I'd love, Emma, for you just to talk about why did you set up SilkFred.com when you started at the age of 24? What customer need did you think needed to be satisfied, fulfilled by kind of this new proposition?
Sure, so hello everybody. Thank you so much for having me. Hopefully you can all hear me, but wave if you can't. I started my career out on the shop floor. I worked for a high street retailer, and it was my favorite job. I loved working with customers. Saturday afternoons on the changing rooms were my favorite, and I'd always hear the same questions coming up again and again. What can I wear to my engagement party? What can I wear to the races? I'm going on holiday. I think I'm going to get engaged. My best friend's getting married. I'm going on a first date, on and on and on. And then I worked in luxury, and the same questions would come up again, and it was never about what are the hottest trends or what's happened on the catwalks or what's going on in Vogue. It was just this very universal experience of just people wanting to find a great outfit that made them look good. So when we started to set up SilkFred, the thing that kind of lit the fire, so to speak, was I was working at a luxury retailer. It was online. I was in e-commerce. I wanted to work in e-commerce for as long as it became a thing. I became obsessed with it. And we'd always just get these brands knocking on our door saying, can I show you my stuff? I would love to work with you guys. But retailers like that, large retailers, never had the infrastructure or the flexibility to be able to work with the smaller, more embryonic brands. So I wanted to solve that problem with my two co-founders. We started the business, the three of us together. And I also wanted to really demystify a lot of the fashion elements of what a fashion retailer looks like. When everybody was doing editorial campaigns that looked like Vogue but on a homepage, I was like, let's just get people to the product. There are amazing e-commerce websites now that sell electronics and books. Amazon, they're growing so fast. Why don't we just make it really simple? So it was really uniting those things of how do we help everyday customers feel really special and find them with great outfits, and how do we help these embryonic brands who don't really have a home right now. And that was how we got started, and that was just over 11 years ago now. And since then, it's my life's passion to work with entrepreneurs. I come from a family of entrepreneurs. My dad started off on a market stall, and I'm super proud to say that 800 brands that we work with, we've delivered just under $500 million of sales to small businesses all over the UK. So yeah, really, really proud to work with entrepreneurs and have built a home and a community of them.
I mean, I'm just looking at everyone's faces and they're like, wow, that is such an amazing achievement. And as you say, you're now 11 years old, right, as a business. You started the business to fulfill a specific need from customers. What can I wear for?
Yep.
Has that changed?
No, I'd say, actually, I found our original business plan about a year ago, and I was reading through it, and the graphics are nothing to write home about. It was literally when word art was a thing. And that was the extent of my Photoshop skills. Anyway, so the thing that we said is we wanted to bring emerging designers to market, and we wanted to sell clothes that couldn't be found easily anywhere else. So this was in our original business plan. The things that changed were the kind of mode in which we did it. Like, we had a million different ways to, try and surface emerging designers. We did pop-up shops. We tried to do photography services, advertising for the brands. Like, we tried all these different things. And really what it came back to is, if these brands can't scale in a meaningful way and become sustainable, as in beyond designing a collection, showing it at London Fashion Week exhibition, failing to get a Selfridges buyer interested, then what is this all for? So really, we just really went to work on, like, how do we be the most effective partner for someone who's looking to launch and grow a fashion brand. I think I answered your question.
It absolutely did.
I got lost a bit there, sorry.
No, it absolutely did. I mean, we were just trying to understand if the original reason why SilkFred was born, and then that need, serving the need of that consumer, is still the same.
We did throw one thing in the bin, which I'm really happy with, which was we were going to build a social network around it. We were going to make a feed where people could follow their favorite brands, interact with their favorite brands, share like what was in their wish list shopping bags. But this was when everyone was trying to build a social network. There was a social network for everything. And then it just was like, look, there's people, you've got to focus. There's a million different ways you can attack something, but you've got to focus on one thing. You've got to have one strong core proposition and just go hell for leather making that work. But yeah, I'm really glad that we didn't blow a load of money on that. Because I think people like clothes. Not many people really love fashion. It's a much smaller audience than people think. Most people just want clothes that fit right, feel right, and make them feel good. A lot of people don't really care about, and they've got WhatsApp to share the stuff that they want to buy. So
absolutely. So taking us from 11 years ago when you started the business to now, the category is huge. It's been exponentially growing, but it is set to plateau. It's also hugely saturated in the UK.
Hugely saturated.
Right? So I kind of want us to go back to our topic title is, how do we win with that connected consumer today? What is the experience that we need to create? And how is SilkFred really helping to stand out for themselves, for your brand, but also helping our 800 independent brands stand out?
Sure. So it is a very saturated market. And in my corner of the world in particular, it's getting really, really tough to cut through. And even now it's becoming even harder to reach people with things like iOS 14 coming into play has made digital advertising and channels even more difficult than they already were. So two things for us. The first one is not very sexy, but just operational excellence. We are leaving no stone unturned in how we can make the business better in every possible way. And for us, that really does start with the customer. So every interaction we have with a customer now, no matter how small or seemingly trivial, we look at it, we think about it, and we try and say, okay, how do we meet customers where they are? So if that means that, a lot of our customer service contact is coming in disproportionately through social media versus a contact form on the website, okay, how do we reallocate resources to make that so that, we're meeting them where they are? We've always been a very data-focused business, and we look at lots of different things. But one of the things, and now if you sell online, there's no limit to the amount of things you can go looking for to understand. I mean, it's amazing, really. But people need to have ownership of specific metrics. So if someone's going to work on the conversion rate, who is that person who's going to drive that initiative forward? Who is that person who is going to say, right, our customer cohorts aren't as strong as they used to be, our active customers are declining? Who is going to be the owner and the person who is going to really carry the torch within the business to do that? So that's the operational side. Technology, we're always looking to be out in front in terms of technology. So we've recently built a tool using ChatGPT's, or rather OpenAI's underlying technology, which is, we're calling it your personal shopper in your pocket. So at SilkFred, because we're a marketplace that's always new product getting listed, we have about 80,000 different options online at any different point. So how do we help people get to where they want to be as quickly as possible? So what our AI tool does is it's not like one of these style quizzes where you have to take a million different questions and you have to swipe left and swipe right. What it does is you just start interacting with us, you start moving around the site, you click on different things, and then it starts to surface options based on what it thinks you're interested in, and also looking at the behavior of other people who behaved in a similar way to you.
I think that's really important.
Yeah.
I want to interject and kind of double click into that because there are many marketplaces,
Yes.
of which we know some of them, where actually choice overload is a real issue when it comes to customer experience. You type in black dress and you might get 56,000 results. How are you going to find the black dress that you know will work for your body shape, the style that you like, etc.? So I think it's really interesting that actually you're looking at new technologies to kind of help customers navigate that choice and navigate, I guess, a product portfolio, as you were saying, that's forever changing. How are you seeing the take up from shoppers in that space?
Brilliant. So all of these products, like we're finding, I mean, we try lots of things and lots of things don't work, like virtual sizing. Just no one seems to want to use these tools, even though returns are such a big problem. So we're always trying new technologies to take up on anything that helps people feel like they've got a guiding hand, but they're still the choice. The person who makes the choice at the end of it seems to work really well for us. And the AI tool was really just a continuation of, so we do a series on Instagram every Tuesday for the last 5 years. It's called Try on Tuesday. And customers can write into us and tell us what they're looking at outfits for, and then we will recommend things, and our models will try them on, and we'll run like a live content series where people can interact with them, and we do it live on our app too. And really the AI was just a way of how do we take that kind of very personal interaction and try and scale it. Because I think there's been a lot of attempts at personalization. I remember speaking to someone who ran the marketplace at Walmart. So huge business, huge. And I was like, I think personalization's the future. And she was like, I think it's a load of bollocks. Like literally, she's like, loads have tried, loads have failed, good luck to you. I still have some faith that something is possible, but it's really hard when you use technology in a way that makes the experience feel like an echo chamber. Okay, I looked at one black jacket once, it doesn't mean I only ever want to buy black jackets. There's a bit of serendipity and nuance to the shopping and discovery experience. So I think that is a whole frontier that's very exciting that I haven't really seen anyone in particular really cracking. So I think for marketplaces, particularly with a huge breadth of product, how do you just get people, how do you avoid choice aversion? How do you get people to where they want to go faster? And it's something that we are constantly attacking.
So I want to explore that a little more, just because of the environment that we're in, especially around kind of, you mentioning data and technology. And you are relatively still a young business, right? So you don't have necessarily the huge legacy systems like some of the other retailers and some of the other marketplaces. Are there any other areas of new technology, new ways at looking at your data to really help you not just optimize, but actually continue to disrupt your business?
Yeah, so we actually did quite a bit of work to allow our data to be more easily accessible before. So our tech stack was built fully in-house from day one, which people thought we were mad to do in the beginning, but back then there wasn't, looking at a miracle sign there, that was not there when we started. Like Shopify really baby, like this off-the-shelf technology that has lowered the barriers to entry for selling online generally just wasn't available. So positives, we always had 100% control over what we do. No one can ratchet the price up on us. And we had ultimate flexibility on defining where it ended up. We were always able to drag out every single data point. And that was the key for us. We always want to be able to get at the information, but we always needed developers to do it. So a lot of our work over the last 5 years has been empowering our team to be able to go and start those sort of curiosity journeys of, I wonder if there's certain cohort of customers that shop across these different groups of brands, I wonder if they behave any differently to these ones that shop from these brands, these price points. So we did a lot of work with Snowflake, and we also we started using the Looker platform before it got acquired by Google. And we found like visualization tools like that, like really, really helpful for people in the business, especially who might not be, familiar with, SQL and things like that, to really like empower everyone in the business to kind of understand what was happening. And that's been amazingly helpful for us. Like the amount of curiosity I see in every team in the company, regardless of like what their kind of experience is fantastic, just by giving them the tools to be able to visualize things. And then and as I said about the ownership, okay, so now I found that thing, now what am I going to go do with it? That ownership of that metric, like, okay, how can we keep making incremental improvements over time?
You talk about incremental improvements.
Yeah.
I mean, when you're making decisions in real time as a retailer, they're not always going to be improvements, and making those decisions can impact revenue for you guys, revenue
Yes.
for your partners. Can you talk me through the culture within the organization around how do you empower your teams to respond to customer needs in real time, to respond to that change of behavior in real time?
So a lot of it is just, so the first thing was, and this is what I learned from working in other companies, the tech team was never really at the center of the business. It was very much like, like the IT Crowd, that TV show. Like that's how it felt like tech teams were dealt with and treated in businesses that I'd worked in before. Whereas when we first started the company, apart from me and my two co-founders, we only had developers. Our first non-technical hire was 3 years in. So the business really was built up around the relationship with the developers being very much the sort of the solution architects for everything we needed. Our CTO is phenomenal. Our tech team are fantastic, and they're very much, we bring them problems. We don't tell them to build things. We don't give them prescriptive things to go out and build. We say, hey, this is a problem. And actually the tech team, a lot of the time, are the ones that are driving those incremental improvements. They're looking at the metrics, and they're the ones coming up with the ideas themselves. So that has been, I think, a thing that has been very different culturally in our business. And whenever we've brought in like non-technical hires, we've spent time like helping them understand like why we function as we function, and why we're such, everything centering around tech. And now with so many developments in AI and automation, for us that's just how we see the future now. And we say to everybody, if you're doing the same job day in, day out, you need to have a serious think about how you're spending your time, because it's going to get automated. It's going to get automated very quickly, and everybody needs to be thinking about how they can leverage these new technologies and ultimately be a value add.
And I love that, because that's the way that you've set up your business. You said tech and IT have been at the heart.
Mm-hmm.
But really they've been at the heart because the customer has been at the heart, right? Like you're looking at data, you're looking at services and tools that are going to augment that customer experience. You talked about AI, you talked about how can we make recommendations, stronger recommendations, take into account what people need, consumer behavior. I don't think we could have a conversation today without really looking at the wider landscape of shoppers today.
Yeah.
And the fact that, inflation is hitting a 41-year high. People have less money to spend, and absolutely less money to spend,
Yes.
unfortunately, on looking good and clothes and those events. And you and I had spoken about the impact of the cost of living crisis, in the fashion category, in the
Yes.
apparel category. How are you readying your business to deal with that? I think you'd mentioned that you were expecting, or there were some numbers around fashion brands experiencing a 70% hit nearly.
Oh, it cannot be understated enough how difficult the situation is in this part of the industry. Like, it's not really getting reported on that much now. I don't know why it's not getting reported on. I don't understand. But everybody I talk to in our industry is just really finding it very difficult. Everyone from Frasers to ASOS, hundreds of layoffs this year, hundreds. And I don't even think we've seen the worst of it. I really don't. So I think there's two things. So the number you said there, Google has shown that in the last 12 months, there has been a 70% drop in the searches for dresses, which is massive. That doesn't matter whether you're in the circular economy, you're selling things secondhand, you're renting them, you're a personalization model, you're a subscription model, you're a marketplace, you're people. It does not matter. People are simply cutting back on discretionary spending. And it doesn't matter whether you're spending £5 or £1,000, there isn't a single demographic that hasn't been disturbed by the wider the macroeconomic picture. So what can you do? You can only control the controllables, which is being good to your customers. How do you cut through the noise when you're dropping ad spend? You know, how can you, like I said, for us, we're just leaving no stone unturned. You know, I do think in moments of chaos, I mean, you've heard it like Shopify, who I think are a big sponsor of this event. If you've ever heard their founder and CEO speak, said Shopify was baptized in the 2008 economic crisis because people lost their jobs and they had to find new ways of making money, and a whole new generation of entrepreneurs was born. So in this chaos, there is opportunity. It's just going to be about how do we be better everywhere? How do we stay as close to where our customers need us to be? And it, you know, and in some ways it might mean parting with the past. Oh, this is the way we've always done it. Okay, who cares? What next? What next? Where are people right now?
And I really like that, and again want to explore that further. You know, we're an end-to-end, we're global end-to-end creative commerce agency, and I always talk a lot about how brands can add more meaningful value to shoppers, more meaningful value to consumers, and try and remove that friction, understand kind of what's in their minds and how a brand can really help. And so you can imagine kind of when people actually get onto SilkFred.com, they will have a very different mindset to maybe last year or the year before. So they might be asking, you know, what dress can I wear for my daughter's graduation, but they might not have the same amount of money to spend.
Yep.
And so how can we help them in that moment of need? I think you started to allude to it earlier, which is, you know, how do you change those recommendations? How do you understand the broader economic landscape or some of the trends that we're seeing in shoppers today? And how can we respond?
So you'll see H&M put out some new results today about how they've increased their profitability. And I think this is really the name of the game in e-commerce at the moment, is so providing a frictionless experience, meeting the customer where they're 100%. But a lot of this is about protecting margin as well. So lots of discounting is, what we've noticed in our data is discounting doesn't really do that much to move a product. It's really just, all you're really doing is selling the product to the people who would have bought it full price anyway. And there's lots of research on this. I definitely recommend the book How Brands Grow by Byron Sharp. Has lots of great studies and data analysis on promo codes and discounting and things like that. In terms of like what you can do for the customer now, again, as you said, it's just understanding what they need right now and trying to get them to where they want to be as quickly as is possible. So if they've got less money to spend, are they looking for more special pieces? Can we highlight those more special pieces? Can we emphasize quality? Like, we're never going to sell £5 dresses, ever. Like, it's not, even if we wanted to, our business model and the ecosystem of brands that we've built can't produce at the volume, at the margin needed to even deliver that kind of price point. So for us, it's emphasizing the quality, improving the product, unsexy things like how do you decrease the returns rate? We did some modeling for a brand recently where they had a product where it was 70% returns rate, and we built a basic calculator that showed them, based on the number of units they had in stock, how many they'd have to sell based on their current returns rate to get the product sold. And it was something like 250 units in stock with a returns rate of 70%. They're going to have to sell that product 850 times to get it sold. So what's the best thing to do in that scenario? And the brand actually said, well, isn't it better? Well, didn't 30% of people really love it? I'm like, if you continue to sell this product, you're going to lose money on every single unit you sell. So where are these products? Let's look for those and let's kill those off. So again, it's just working out in all the different areas of the business. Can you be improving the margin without compromising the customer experience? Can you be using the strengths of your team to deliver something that's more exciting and interesting to customers? And also just have that culture of not being afraid to change as well. Yeah.
I mean, we're out of time, so I want to say a huge thank you. I was actually going to surmise kind of how to win with the connected customer experience, but I think you already did that. We have to innovate, we have to keep commercial, we have to make sure that we're adding value at every moment within that customer experience, and I think Emma's done a really fantastic job today on explaining exactly how brands and retailers can do that. So I'd love to just say a huge thank you from me. I thought it was super insightful. Hopefully you guys did as well. Thank you for joining us.
Very much.